mean, I came into your organization a survivor of police brutality as well, and helping other people navigate the scary waters of the aftermath of police brutality. You know, I think what people don't get when you have police brutality is that the nightmare isn't over when the police are done beating you. That's when the nightmare begins. That's when you're going to get harassed. That's when you're going to get threatened. You're going to get intimidated to stay silent. In my case, I was, psychologically terrorized in court. I faced all kinds of bogus felony charges, and if some high caliber lawyers hadn't gotten involved, it's possible I would still be in prison for crimes I didn't commit. And getting involved and helping people confront that and being there with them, and them knowing that as they go into this corrupt courtroom with this corrupt judge, and the judge knows the prosecutor and the cops know the judge, that there's people watching and documenting this, it's a big relief.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. You're exactly right. The nightmare only starts with the incident, but it goes on because the thing about it is this: these cops need to, in some way, justify what they've done to you, because under a U.S. Supreme Court decision called Heck versus Humphrey, this is another thing most people don't understand, so I want to give your listeners a little education about this. There's a Supreme Court decision called Heck versus Humphrey, and under that decision, if you go down on criminal charges related to the incident that you had, if you go down on those charges, you won't have a lawsuit, especially not except for excessive force. And then that's even going to be hard. But any of those civil rights violations and things, all those go out the window. So basically, the reason that cops put phony charges on people is because they need to justify what they did so they can stop a lawsuit. And so people don't realize that, the incident itself, it is axiomatic that if you get brutalized by the police, you are going to get some phony charges. It is rare as rare can be. We almost never see it where somebody gets beat and then not charged. It is rare as can be. So that just does not happen. And so, like you said, the whole nightmare happens. If you are living in public housing, you'll lose your housing. If you have a job that involves, you not having any kinds of violent charges on you, like if you work in the healthcare field or anything like that, you will likely lose not just your job, the job you have right then, but your career. So, I worked with a medical student who was a fourth-year medical student. She was about done and ready to start practicing medicine, and she could not continue because they put phony charges on her, and they prosecuted her successfully after they brutalized and terrorized this poor young woman in her own home. They put phony charges on her because of a corrupt judge. They stuck. And when they stuck, that caused her to lose her ability to practice medicine.
I remember hearing about that case. That was a really well above the bar doctor too, like really incredibly skilled. One of the best minds coming into the medical profession. We had that mind in Minnesota. We had that talent, and we lost it because of police brutality.
That's exactly.
And it's one of these insidious ways that police brutality just keeps, its effects just kind of, there's ripples all over the place.
In that particular case, she was just in her home, and she and her boyfriend were talking on the telephone, and they got in a bit of an argument. And she was, kind of yelling at him on the phone, and somebody outside, I think it was a roommate or something, heard her yelling at her boyfriend, and basically called the cops, and they came to do what's called a quote-unquote welfare check. And these welfare checks are very dangerous. People have to understand that these things are dangerous as can be. A lot of people have been killed during these welfare checks. So they came to the door, and she said, "No, I was just arguing with my boyfriend on the phone. It's okay, it's okay." And she said, "No, you don't need to come in my house." They kept insisting on coming in her house, and when she said no, they literally pushed the door in and pushed her backward, and she fell. And then, she was wearing like a little robe and, nightie because it was nighttime, and basically they terrorized her for hours in her house. At one point, they pushed her into her closet and just forced her inside the closet with the door closed. It's like, Why would you do something like that? It doesn't even make sense, because they wanted her to agree that something bad had happened or that she needed some kind of help. And she's saying, look, I don't need anything. I'm fine. My boyfriend is on the phone. He wasn't even here. We were just arguing. It was just that kind of a situation. So, and that situation changed this one young woman's entire life. And you're right, lost a talented person out of that.
And it probably changed the life of some people whose lives she would have saved,
Absolutely.